Steve, Michigan, and I believe this comes from head coaching stability and from quarterback stability with Shea Patterson and Jim Harbaugh, has been installed by most as not just a Big Ten favorite, but like an overwhelming favorite when you consider that the college football playoff predictor states that Michigan has a 41% chance of making the playoff and Ohio State has a 6% chance. Now that seems ridiculous to me. 7 times better chance than Ohio State of getting to the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the data is that they've put into the formula, because Ohio State's going to have 9 guys back on defense. It's going to be much improved on defense. And, I mean, perhaps they looked at what Justin Fields did in the spring game and were not impressed by that, which is easy to understand because he was 4 of 13, as we talked about. But I am not of a mind to downrate Ohio State on the basis of what he did in the spring game. I think the idea coming out of the spring was that on the whole he was pretty good. I honestly don't know what to say about that, because Michigan, when you think about it from even a 5 miles up in the air point of view, they have to play Notre Dame. Now it's at home, and they also get Ohio State at home, which is a tremendous benefit for them. To win one or both of those games would be huge. But their non-conference, by playing Notre Dame, is much tougher than Ohio State. Ohio State has to play Florida Atlantic, Cincinnati, and the third one, I'm drawing a blank on it.
Miami of Ohio, I believe.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio, which was like a 500 team in the MAC last year. So, I mean, Cincinnati was a 10-win team last year, beat Virginia Tech in their bowl game, I believe. And they're going to come to Columbus and give Ohio State a test. But I think Notre Dame goes into Michigan and gives them a much tougher game than anything Ohio State's going to face. And then I presume their Big Ten schedules are pretty comparable. They play each other. So the better team between the two of them is going to probably represent the Eastern Division. I don't know what to say. I mean, I could be flippant, and I can point out that, over the last 10 or 15 years, and I've never done any research, but I can almost say without even looking, that there hasn't been a college in America, other than maybe Notre Dame, that has started at one place in the preseason poll and ended up well below where they started in the preseason poll, in the postseason poll, than the University of Michigan. And, I mean, they are perennially top 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 every year, and they never finish top 10. And, I mean, maybe one top 10 in the last 15 years, maybe. So, I guess you're gonna have to show me. You're gonna have to, tell me and show me. And I'm gonna readily state Shea Patterson, they could have a pretty good team, but you lose the guys that they lost. I mean, Bush, Winovich,
Gary.
All those guys on defense, you lose the guys that they lost. And you're telling me they're going to be just as good or better? And even with those guys, they came into Columbus with this number 2, number 3, number 1 ranked defense that gave up 62 points. So, they may be driven to finally get the Ohio State monkey off their back, and the game is in Ann Arbor. But you're going to have to show me before I can buy into that entirely. So, I don't know. And I'm not trying to play the partisan card or anything else other than to say, that's cute. I suppose that's, maybe this is going to be their year. Every dog has their day, I guess. And maybe this will be it for them. But again, you're just going to have to prove it to me. You're going to have to show it to me, because I haven't seen anything over the last 10 years to indicate that, they haven't recruited at the same level Ohio State's recruited. I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss. There's a stat kind of segueing into the draft that in the playoff era, the last 4 years, Ohio State's had 31 guys drafted, and the next two best teams in the Big Ten had 19 and 12. So Ohio State alone had as many as the next two teams in the Big Ten combined drafted in the last 4 or 5 years. And there's nothing to indicate that the talent has dropped off at Ohio State. They didn't have a pair of classes that were ranked in the 20s. Every class they've signed's been in the top 5 or 6. Now they have to go out on the field and prove it. They have to go out on the field and play championship football. But even with the substandard defense last year, of course, you got a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback performance from Dwayne Haskins. You won 13 games, won the Big Ten, and won the Rose Bowl. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to be that troll or be that guy. I'm just pointing out that they're not as Ohio State's defense is nowhere near as bad as maybe they were. They'll be nowhere near as bad as they were last year. They're going to be much
think so.
improved.
They've got too much talent.